Hello, BookTube. Well, our mail streak continues, but once again, as yesterday, it's barely limping along. Yesterday, our mail streak continued because I did get mail that I opened and showed you, and it was of interest to some of you, but it wasn't a book. It was a computer. It was a little laptop computer that I am still degunking. It was an HP Stream that had been previously owned by, I think, a school system or something like that. And I am still, it's a little time consuming because it's not a Mac, so it doesn't make it easy to to do some routine bits of maintenance. So I am still degunking it. I'm still getting all sorts of stuff out of it that I'm never going to need it. I don't want it. I want it deleted from the computer. And these HP computers make that a little clingy. You have to go into all sorts of directories to root these things out completely. Just yank them up completely. Otherwise, they stay operating and on and draining your system. And that's taking a bit of time. It's taking a bit of time, and once I can't do anything with the thing until that's done. I would feel rotten doing it otherwise. So I have to degunk and clean the thing, and then see how useful it is. What kind of relationship will it have with OpenOffice? For instance, I use OpenOffice for my writing needs. It downloaded Google Chrome easily. That works just fine. So right now, even without anything else, it's at least as useful to me as any Chromebook. But I think it has a lot more capability than a Chromebook. Obviously, it does. It has tons of internal storage. So I just need to uproot and get rid of all the junk that's in it, and then move around as much of the aesthetics as I can to make it so that it's something that I want to use, and then I will start to use it, and we will see from there what kind of use it gets me. But that was just barely qualified as mail, and today we barely qualify. It is a book this time around, but it's only one. I got one package in the mail because I those of you who are new to the channel, I'm a professional book reviewer, and I have been accustomed in the last 80 million years to getting piles and piles of advanced copies from publishers on my doorstep. And that has gradually over time morphed into 90% of my book consumption. And as you know, that has stopped. There's nobody in those publishing mailrooms. There's nobody in those offices. There's nobody in those newsrooms. And as a result, I have effectively stopped getting new review copies of books, except electronically. Now, the publicists that I know, and I know them all, have been very glad-handed with electronic copies of books, and that's fantastic. That's great. I think that will be a large chunk of the future, whether or not things ever go back to some semblance of normal. But because that was the case, and because when I didn't have piles of books showing up on the front porch, I had great used bookstores here in Boston to go to, all of which have been closed for over a month, my book traffic has slowed to a trickle. Except electronically. I'm still well supplied with books, but it's all electronic. So I've only got the one package to show you here, and it's not even very big. It's not a box or anything. I guess it'll have ebbs and flows. We had a day where there were lots of boxes, but because my consumption has been mostly provided for me, once it stopped, I had a brief period of binging on online ordering of books, and that is bad. That is very dangerous. That is very, very dangerous. You're poised on a precipice. I now understand what a lot of you mean by your book buying budget, because you're poised on a precipice. One minute you're getting something that you actually want, and the next minute you're buying piles of things at $2, $3, $4, $6 a shot, and nickel and diming yourself on a whim into huge amounts of expenditure for books that has to stop. So I think there are a few stragglers left that I have coming to me from online ordering, but other than that, it'll be a very rare thing. It'll go back to being a very rare thing. So I'm just going to have to make do. I'm going to have to find other ways until things change. Maybe things will change this summer. Boston's virus admissions for hospitals is tentatively speaking on the decline. New York's is tentatively speaking on the decline. So is New Jersey's. It's possible that between social distancing and the spread of so-called herd immunity, it's possible that the initial nightmarish flare of this virus is slowly abating. If that happens, then I think it's possible that this summer some semblance of normality could return. Maybe book publicists will go back to their offices. Maybe books will start to flow again. We shall see. But in the meantime, we have a book, one book in the mail. So let's see what we have. The date on this is late May. Oh, this is New York Review of Books Classics. Oh, fantastic! I didn't know that I was really on their mailing list, but I guess I am. For some things, anyway. I guess I am. This comes out in late May. This is Diary of a Foreigner in Paris by Curzio Malaparte, with an introduction by Edmund White. A nice New York Review of Books edition here. Not a very big thing. Let's see here. Translated from the Italian by Stephen Twilly, with an introduction by Edmund White. For the first time translated into English. Oh, wow. Okay, so once again, it's a gamble on their part. Their logo is NYRB Classics, but for the first time translated to English, Diary of a Foreigner in Paris is an exciting addition to Curzio Malaparte's oeuvre, which includes NYRB classic titles like his wartime masterpieces Kaput and The Skin, and the unfinished novel The Kremlin Ball. Okay, so the NYRB editorial team likes this author. They're bringing you a lot by him. As Malaparte readers and fans know, it is difficult to parse through what aspect of his exaggerated protagonist, always named Malaparte, are true or fictionalized, and Diary of a Foreigner is no different. Okay. No wonder the trendy reception in New York and in the NYRB crowd, because it's autofiction. Guarantee you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, don't know anything about this author, I guarantee you beyond a shadow of a doubt, I would bet you a Boston cream pie that it is as easy as pie. It is easy to figure out what is fiction and what is fact in his books. I bet that'd be easy to do. But anyway, is Diary of a Foreigner to be read, like the title suggests, as a diary? For Malaparte, a diary is not simply a recounting of his day. It's a tale with himself at the center of the story. Beginning with Malaparte's return to Paris in the summer of 1947, each diary entry is flush with vivid descriptions of the city. Tableaus feature members of high society reconstructing their lives in the post-war era. And all throughout, our guide reflects on French history, the recent war, and his insights into what the future may hold, welcome or not. Okay, and Curzio Malaparte is a pseudonym for Kurt Erich Suckert, who died in 1957, and who was born in Italy. During World War II, he worked as a correspondent, and this experience provided the basis for his two most famous works, Kaput and The Skin, both of which were written in the 1940s. And when I saw Edmund White on here for the introduction, I immediately thought, okay, this is a gay novel. Because if you're going to haul Edmund White out and have him write something for you, it's going to be a gay novel. It's kind of what he does. But then I realized the whole thing is redolent. It's set and breathes and lives Paris, which is also Edmund White. So that could explain things. Okay, well, all right. I am not familiar with this author at all. No, I mean a little, but not anything like. Interesting. Okay, so this comes out in late May, and it's a printed copy, so I'm assuming it is still going to be distributed in late May. We'll see. I'll have to double check that. I've made some mistakes as publishing dates changed willy-nilly all over the world, so I'll have to check and see. But I think I will do this just as a straight-up experience, and I think I'll do it this weekend. And by straight-up experience, I mean I will read the introduction first, and then I will read the book just straight through, and we'll see. We'll see. My main worry is that I will get that I'll get some way into the book and suddenly feel like the translator is bumping into furniture, in which case, whenever that happens, I don't know this translator. When that happens, I always feel like in putting it down before it poisons my reading experience and getting a copy in the original. That's why I love it when translators don't do that. When I'm reading a translation and it's 100 pages before I even remember that it's a translation. That is wonderful. Even if it's not accurate. You know, you could have a translation that is every bit that smooth, because it's not accurate. It doesn't matter to me so much in the first reading. I'll investigate the book and its provenance plenty after the fact. But for that first reading, I don't want to be reading a sentence and have a character say something that comes out of a phrase book. Obviously, that comes out of a phrase book. That isn't something that anyone would say. And sure enough, 9 times out of 10, if I do interrogate the original in the original language, it turns out that there were 10 different and better ways to translate that. I hate it when the translator is in the room. So we shall see. We'll see what the case is with this. This is fascinating to me. I bet I can name 2 or 3 people at least in my profession who love this author. Oh, that was the bell. There might be more mail. I will wrap this up, but I will be back. Thank you, BookTube.